can he cook to really make things difficult? Because you are absolutely expecting Wukong goes in, Cyclone comes out, public execution over the top. You could pick it away, but then you have to be comfortable blinding the Ambessa and being less on something crazy where we're kind of expecting that from BB.
So it will be Victor in the mid lane. I have not seen BB play Ambessa. He's played it once this split, so it's in spring. It's not really a champion, I think is synonymous with him. But it is still going to be a counter pick for the top side for G2. T1 now need to lock in their mid and their top laners. As you say, still a slew of options. You could even take the Ahri yourself if you just want some push in the mid lane and the ability to follow up on the Wukong. Olaf would be very interesting. Oh, Olaf locked.
Okay, so it's... Wait. Olaf blind.
Olaf top blind because
that is.
I mean, Vayne is gone. I guess Varus is gone.
Yeah, but you still can just kind of like you could just pick Sion here or something and just kind of not care. I mean, yeah, if you take an all in, you're gonna die, but you can just park the wave outside your tower and just farm. Kled would be super spicy. He's going Kled. Oh my god. Okay, we're betting the game on top lane. This is
full top lane.
This is the polar opposite of the Sion pick, where you're just looking to farm and looking to make it difficult for him. Kled, traditionally in this matchup, I have seen go Ignite, and it becomes
ever in history, and for G2, is its 7th year lucky. 2019, the last time they toppled T1 in the best of 5. All of those years ago, and since then it has been the crowning jewel on the top of the G2 experience, the G2 history, really, that year. Searching for ways back to it. This year already have taken down 3 LPL or LCK teams in best of 5s. To add a 4th this early in the year would be incredible.
Especially... People are always quick to say, well, first stand is just first stand, and this is just this, and well, top, they're a choker.
Yeah.
T1 at MSI, this matters, right? You know, this is T1 at MSI in Korea. This is a big deal, and G2 have them on match point, and we'll see how this bot lane goes. This is getting scrappy.
And he was coming out, Lebrov looking for the empowered Mantrid Inner Flame as Hans Sommer is the one on the losing side of this trade. Keria begins to step further forward, flash away from the Lucent Singularity. Hans Sommer with the Ghost and Peyz with the barrier means there's more battle summoners on the side of T1, and they use that extra effective HP.
But look at Skumon, he's gonna go for a level 2 gank. You never see this in Pro anymore. The timing is spotted though.
Spotted on Ward. And immediately will back away. Gives him a nice little thumbs up. Will turn his attentions back towards the red. Both bot lanes get their level 2s. Broken Blade trading with Doran. Dismounted from Skull. And you can see the reason that G2 want to focus this bot lane if they can. Peyz having an exemplary performance so far here at MSI.
And Broken Blade's not level 3, he doesn't have the W.
Doran is just going to chase down Broken Blade. Kled has no way to remount. Broken Blade needs another, but Doran chops him down with the axe while Faker almost falls in the mid lane.
The pot.
Death by a touch, not enough to get through the pot.
The pot keeps him alive, and Broken Blade there. If you're wondering why he's hitting the minions, he's trying to get 3. He didn't go for Q and then hold your W. That's what a lot of club players will do. Instead, he went QE for the more aggressive trade, tried to depend on the fact that he would be able to push quickly for level 3. Then Doran realizes, you don't have W, bro. You can't remount fast enough. So he is all-inning on him, while Broken Blade is desperately trying to get level 3 here. If he gets level 3, he gets the fast W, he gets the quick remount, but it came in way too late. And here it is, EQ in. If you time that well, it hit confirms the bear trap on a rope, you get the dismount, and now is where you're vulnerable. He really needs to go for that level 3, but Doran realizes, you don't have the time. I'm just going to go for the fight right now. Pops the Ghost, chases him down. Broken Blade flashes back to get level 3, but it just doesn't matter. Faker might solo kill Caps.
Caps splashes away, but still the winds of war from the king of mid lane. Enough for T1 to be 2-0 up.
And Caps is best in the West, but Faker is the best ever, and showing him why. Laning, not what you talk about when you talk about Faker these days, but G2 in trouble. Oner's behind him.
Oner's on a gank. We'll see the Lucent Singularity coming down. There's a snap trap as well, and Peyz and Keria can just 2v2 it. Oner comes across the wall to claim the kill.
That's classic jungler move.
So, I've got a Nimbus strike this one, man.
I needed the assist, guys. It's for the team.
Exactly.
And so they are able to take him down, but things getting a bit out of control for T1 already. G2 really going to be on the back foot here. Here's another binding.
You can just see the CC chain. You can't escape it. the Korean sniper claims his first of the game, and T1, 4 minutes in, are 4-0 up and have a 1.6k gold lead as Doran continues to chase Broken Blade away. Is he going to go for another undertow?
He wants Broken Blade to auto a minion to get the W on cooldown. Yep. So that is why Broken Blade is only last hitting with Q right now. He's trying to hold the W cooldown because he knows if he gets dismounted from a disadvantage without W ready, he is dead. He will not remount. He will get killed. So he is accepting that he's just going to miss CS.
Oh my God. Again.
He's dead too.
He's just dead again. He has to snap around the snap traps and then flashes. Peyz flashes for the follow, and Peyz sends him to meet his maker. Faker able to escape as well in the mid lane.
All right, G2 need to take a breath, calm it down, slow it down a bit here. I feel like nerves are getting to them.
Well, Ragnarok out from Doran. He thinks he can just take this. The Olaf will get the 1-for-1, but he'll die. Denies the minions at least.
Denies the minions. The wave is going to push away from Broken Blade, so it's still a worthwhile dive. Would have been much worse if Doran obviously survives from that spot, but Olaf getting this far ahead is so problematic. G2's comp is very reliant on CC, on kiting, on keeping that guy away from the backline. If he gets super fed, that Ashe is going to have a nightmare time in the team fights, and Peyz is 800 gold up. Everyone on T1 is up gold, including Faker, who is up the least, but had that solo kill in this melee versus range matchup.
After almost dying. Like, Faker just comes back into the lane and then solo kills Caps, who now has to recall 6-1 in favor of T1. And you can see Viper the other day had a conversation about T1. He said, I don't think it's meaningful to judge them on their recent matches. They're always a team that comes back stronger overnight. And
on the same day, as we are seeing in this series, and sometimes in the same lane as we are seeing from Faker. T1 is a team that is famed for their in-series and in-tournament adjustments. They are not a team to lose the same way 3 times, right? You know, you just never see it happen. And BB does have that early Tiamat, but is going to be very vulnerable to ganks, and it's going to be scary up there.
Bob looking for the focus resolve. They'll try and turn it back onto Keria, but using that shield very effectively. Hans Sama takes a headshot and he loses out on the trade pretty substantially.
Yeah, and the scariest part about Lux and Caitlyn is not the trading. It's the fact that you are playing a bullet hell, basically, where you get hit by one thing and you can just die. You can see, though, Skumon has snuck into the bot lane brush, and Skumon is going to be looking for a lane gank here, so we'll see if they can actually set it up. If Lebrov can get...
Broken Blade looking for mid first. He's going to jump in. Justice Punch comes out. There's the taunt from the shield of Duran, but Faker might just be done for as Broken Blade takes him. Meanwhile, Skumon still waiting to see if Keria oversteps, which he does, has to flash away. Light Binding doesn't connect. Q3 for the knockup, and Keria, no way out for him. G2 find 2 across the map.
Whoa, that was close, though, for Lebrov. He almost got tagged by that 90 caliber net, and then he would have been dead to the headshot following that up. Very, very close, but great plays here from G2. Take a moment, make a game plan. Broken Blade realized, all right, my 1v1 might be over. I'm going to look for a play elsewhere, go help out Caps, get him back to a more comfortable spot, grabs the kill for himself, and then uses that ult very effectively. Kled is not a champion where you can sit back and farm. Kled is a champion that must fight his way out of every single problem. If you're winning, you fight. If you're losing, you fight. If you even, you got to fight. And Broken Blade trying to stay active and problem solve for what was not the start he was hoping for.
What a turnaround it's been from Doran as well, winning out on the 1v1 after having such a struggle in the first 2 games of this series. Game 3 even, in fact, he was losing on the Nart. He's played this Olaf 3 times before, once in the road to MSI against Genji. Was able to pick up a win there.
And has been kind of known for his late game team fighting on this pick, right?
Yep.
For his ability, not necessarily to always dominate in the 1v1, but to be able to come into that 5v5, find the right angle as he did in some of those games. And Doran accelerated here. Again, will be problematic for Victor, for Ashe, for Karma, these champions that are relying on slows and CCs and stuns to be able to keep you away. You're going to have Wukong flashing on your head with a Galio ult coming over the top, with Lucent Singularity, with all of these tools. As G2 looking to try to pressure bot, but this is a risky dive.
You can see where Faker is as well, just hovering. It's looking for that hero's entrance. Broken Blade stepping forward. Faker comes in. There's the Galio ult, the Ragnarok chasing down Lebrov, and there's no escape for the Karma. In fact, the autos don't come out. The Winds of War from Faker will take it in the end. I wonder if Doran was just waiting for his mid laner to come and pick up that gold.
It seemed like he was, because he completely stopped chasing for him there. He didn't want to overextend. He's just clearing out the wave, maybe trying to prevent a redive, knowing Faker could actually finish that off. Faker does pick up the kill. Said it was going to be a risky dive. It definitely was. They sent 4 members, but they are looking for a potential angle at a redive. They can use Kled remount to try to go for this.
Faker has flash. Has the Justice Punch as well. The wave on its way in. Broken Blade goes in for the dive. They'll jump onto Faker. Good taunt. The remount comes out. Skumond needs to flash away, but he doesn't have that summoner. Faker finds one in a 1v3 dive.
You come for the king, you best not miss. Faker makes him pay in the 1v3 as Peyz is getting paid on the other side of the map. He's getting all of these plates, solo gold, by the way, and he's about to get that first tower gold here too. And they have 3 grubs for the Caitlyn that is hugely accelerated. Han's going to get spotted there. You can see Lebrov trying to wrap around behind him. Doran has no ult right now, but Hans without the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, it's not really much of a look for a play.
There's no threat even without Doran having that Ragnarok. He does have the flash about to come back off cooldown, and the grub's taken for T1, the Drake taken for T1, kills across the map taken for T1, Peyz is 1,000 gold ahead. This is perfect so far for T1, and this early game has been a shambles, really, for G2.
Yeah. I mean, it went bad, and it went bad very, very early. Yeah. You know, if you lose all 3 lanes and you're getting killed in all 3 lanes, that is just very, very tough. So we've seen G2. They are mentally a very strong team. We need to see them stay stable now as it's full court press here.
The dive about to materialize, flash away from the line binding. Doran has that Ragnarok back up, and with Hansama and Lebrov not having their flashes, it feels like they're going to have to start to back away. Broken Blade does have a bit of free time on the top lane tower to get some gold back in his pockets, but you can see what T1 do when they have this Caitlyn as they go in with the Ragnarok. Skumon look for the damage, the ace in the hole coming out as well. Skumon does still have that Crescent Guard, but as I was saying, T1, when they have this Caitlyn Lux, they play entirely through Peyz.
Yep, and Faker was cheating down towards bot side. BB is trying to get some gold, but Keria's being so annoying. His Light Binding forced 2 flashes. Now they have to TP Caps down here just to try to hold on to the tower.
Oner able to dash away with a decoy. Snap Trap onto Caps. Light Binding doesn't connect, and Caps steps forward with a bit of a Hex Tech Ray, but in the end, T1 happy enough to take that Summoner out. Broken Blade still hasn't taken this tower, and Faker's going to get himself a plate in the mid lane with those grubs doing a little bit of extra damage for him. Caps now needs to step away from Keria, who flashlight bindings, but Cap steps forward from it. Lucent Singularity not connecting either. Keria burning that summoner for no real avail.
Yeah, Keria has been going for a lot of predictions in this series, I will say. Not all of them working out, as G2 feels like aren't panicking when they see the flash. You know, he is expecting IQ flash, you flash into it. That's what he's looking for in a play like that. But Caps holds his nerves, is able to judge that it's not going to hit, doesn't use anything. And as a result, Keria is minus that summoner and will be a little bit more vulnerable here. Has rushed the Mikhails, which I really, really like against a comp like this. It's Enchanted Crystal Arrow or nothing, kind of. I mean, you can send the Kled in as your engage, but it's very, very tough for Kled when there is someone, anyone on the other team to be able to block it. Oner's clone can block the ult coming in. Faker getting shielded up and just channeling taunt can block it. That can be difficult. So, you know, you are really looking for picks with Hansama, and Keria just uses that early gold he got to buy a super fast Mikhails and kind of say, well, you're going to have to look for something else.
Smart round by T1 as they'll take their second Drake of the game. You can see in the Coinbase gold grind, Broken Blade has been able to get himself a little bit of a lead, but predominantly because Doran has just been put in bad situations for a while. The gold lead on Broken Blade over Doran has to be compared with the gold lead between Hansama and Peyz, and it's almost a 1.8k lead now for the Caitlyn over that Ashe. Keria has no flash, but I don't think G2 really want to make too much of a proactive play as Peyz waits in the wings to see if someone's going to step forward for a headshot. Arrow comes down towards the bottom lane, and Faker just walks away after taking the tower.
And you can see PV very comfortable on this pick. As we said, 16-5 throughout his career. Has been something that he is really, really well known for, and has kept those picks coming. But, you know, you touched on it in draft, and there is a reason why this is a feared pick. 14-1 in his career on the Caitlyn, averaging over 1,000 DPM.
Is incredibly impressive.
That is insane.
Yeah. It's not something you often see. Usually it's about 600 to 700 for an AD
good.
carry, even if they're doing well. Yeah. But on this pick, Peyz continues to impress, and T1 continue to press forward. And there's the final spot, losing Singularity. Lebrov able to walk away from the snap trap before it opens its gaping maw. Peyz not quite close enough to put it down underneath him in time.
Exactly. Couldn't quite get there in time. And I think a volley maybe even came out from Hans to try to slow him down a little bit. Obviously, Peyz not wanting to just like flash to try to get the trap. And as a result, it is not a kill, but it is continued pressure here. They already took out top. They already took out bot. Now 2 plates remaining there in that mid lane. Herald coming up in a minute, and you have to think T1 is going to want to continue playing towards that.
I mean, they get rule of the roost, don't they? They can do whatever objective they want or whatever pace they want, and at some point, G2 are going to have to try and call that and say, okay, we're 1 item apiece right now. Is that enough? Next objective, as you say, in a minute, is that Herald.
One thing I would like to see from G2 is if they can get push. I mean, this is what kind of depends on, but utilizing the Kled ult to pick someone off in a side lane, right? Yep. Kled ult plus the Xin Zhao lane gank is really, really powerful. You know, you don't have to have some tricky angle when you just run really fast with that Kled ult. So maybe Skumon can hover him and they can try to get a pick there.
Lebrov going to get chased down by Doran, uses the Ragnarok, uses the Ghost. Lebrov tries to flash away, but Doran can just chase him. Skumon with the Crescent Guard trying to get away from the Cyclone. Doran gets the kill. And Skumon has to pop his ultimate to escape the clutches of T1 and of Oner.
Nicely done there by Doran. Has his first completed item on that Stride Breaker spike. And Lebrov, even with the flash, I think he tried to kind of play for the juke where he's trying to pretend that he's flashing into the pit, but did not trick Doran, and Doran is able to run him down and kill him, but we'll see if they catch Doran now.
On Skumon, Doran pulled back by the bear trap on a rope, but Skumon is here. Doran will die, burnt both of his summoners and his ultimate to get that kill on the Karma. Mid lane tower, they're going over to T1 as another bear trap. Almost catches him. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Hansama, he's just rooted for days. The man is basically a plant with how long those roots are. And Skumon with no ult, with no flash, with no way out. A great taunt in from Faker as T1 are flattening G2.
Oh, Peyz almost went down to that tower shot, but does survive. And Dejan coming to life, supporting the home heroes here as T1 wiping G2 out. BB did look for a pretty good play there. You know, he committed the TP, the flash, ignite. They killed off Doran, who had used that ghost, who had used that ulti. And it's that initial collapse that makes them think, hey, we're in a pretty good spot here. Doran, you know, did flash early to try to escape, but in comes everyone from G2. Then they try to reclaim space here around that mid lane, but Oner's in the spot, and you see it. That binding catches onto Hans. He's CC'd 100-0. Great flash from Peyz away from the wind, becomes lightning. Avoids that. Another binding lands. That is another kill. And now a taunt and another CC chain lands. Back-to-back kills there for T1. It is Peyz an entire item ahead.
Yeah, 2,800 gold. His advantage with the Phantom Dancer complete and a pickaxe alongside those Hex Optics. 4,000 the entire lead for T1 as Doran continues just to push in a side lane. For G2, it is such a struggle to get back into this game because even when you find a good pick, even when you find someone in the side lane, Doran actually pulled back. He's going to have to use the Ragnarok trying to dismount Broken Blade but won't be able to do it. Big ultimate down from Doran. Broken Blade doesn't have the charge, but can go in. Jousting. Look at those violent tendencies as well. Dismounted. There's the bear trap. Lebrov here, but Doran heals up. Broken Blade and Lebrov will take a kill, but now the TP in from Faker. And Keria on his way. Counter TP used. Remount. Keria is going to try and protect Faker as he extracts himself from the enemy jungle.
Great kill from BB again. You know, finding ways to be useful here after what was such a tough start. Yeah. And that was actually pretty clever from Doran. He waited till the Q had expired, then went for the TP out. But Broken Blade, the split second his ult came back up, he used the ult, had just enough time there. 1 second later, that ult comes up. I think Doran is gone. But he bumps him with the ult, interrupts that base, and now Doran has no ult, has no TP. G2 are on this dragon here and could be slowing T1's march towards a possible soul.
Keria looking for that light binding. Lebrov trying to keep Oner at bay. Light binding hits onto Skumon. Faker's trying to get the taunt towards the top side as the Crescent Guard comes out from Skumon. Broken Blade going into the pit as well. A Cyclone on the back as Hansama has a tempestuous time escaping. Lebrov going to get chased out, charged on by the Rift Herald. Broken Blade forced away as well. The Drake did go to G2. Importantly for them, they delayed the soul, but with another light binding. Just clipping the heels of Broken Blade, unable to find that connection. Keria Lucent Singularity for the slow. Ragnarok in. Broken Blade dismounted. Doran going deeper, but won't find enough. An ace in the hole. Skewer's going to have to block it. The final spark, not enough. Caps takes down Doran. Faker goes in, but the remount on Skull. Courageous from G2 as they somehow bite back in the bot side.
That looked like it was going to be...
Oh, to Peyz. Caps with the Siphon Power puts down the Hexa Grey. Good Mikhail's out of Keria, but Skewer's on the chase. Peyz shot down by Skew, and Keria with no hope, no teammates, and no life left to live.
Pulled a comeback out of nowhere in that fight. It looked like they were completely screwed after Faker just drove through the whole team with the Rift Herald. I thought he was going to get the crash into the wall, and G2 was going to get taunted up, and that they were going to get aced, and the game was essentially going to be over. But not only do they escape, not only do they take the dragon, they get the kills off the back of this as well, so they rush for this. Instead of Oner going for the dragon, he goes for the fight, feeling like they have the angle to just win here. And then in comes Faker from the side. Hans dies, wasting his flash, and you think it is just all over. But Faker actually missing the wall there, couldn't crash it out, so he gets stuck in the Herald for so much longer, and he was supposed to be the flank. T1 chased them down, but it is a bit of an overreach. In goes Doran, pops the ult, pops the ghost, but not enough to finish them off. And then that bit of damage onto BB makes Faker think, I can go for this. Q flash misses, only tags him with a tiny bit of damage. Instant remount from BB, pulled out of the sky by the bear trap on a rope. And then Hans respawns and gets his revenge. Ash sends her regards, takes down Peyz with that ultimate as G2 gets so many kills, and T1 felt that they were rolling through this team, felt that they were rolling through this game. But now it is much more within striking distance. It's really only Peyz now. That's the only lead that matters.
He is still 2.6k ahead, importantly, almost has that Infinity Edge complete. And T1, until that moment, had played incredibly effectively around him. They just need to reset and do that again as the ace in the hole hits onto Lebrov. China Crystal Arrow goes between the uprights. No score for Hans Sommer there.
Yeah, not an easy game by any means from this point for G2. But before that fight, this game was looking over. Yeah. And now they have that glimmer of hope. I am just so impressed by Broken Blade. I feel like Kled from behind is so hard to play. To go from getting solo killed in this matchup to being up 850 gold, to being active on the map, to being able to find these angles, these ways to create chaos, these ways to get remounts, to get your opponent to overcommit and then survive is so critical for his team. And it is not easy to do on this champion, but Caps with a slight gold lead, Broken Blade and Skewmon with those slight gold leads. It is all going to be about Peyz. Can you take him down? Can you enable him if you are T1? Because he is working quickly towards that IE, and once Caitlyn hits that Infinity Edge, and especially once Caitlyn hits that fourth item 100% crit, she's going to be a terror.
Faker with the mandate alongside his rocket belt. 2 items apiece on the junglers, and a slight lead for Broken Blade in terms of itemization as he's finished his Black Cleaver with the Titanic Hydra. Faker the one to deal with him right now as Skewmon comes in from the side as well. They'll jump onto Faker, the dismount comes out, the Q3 Broken Blade! Where was Faker? He disappeared!
Look at the build. He's got Merc Treads, an Imperial Mandate, and a Rocket Belt. That is no protection against a Xin Zhao and a Kled, and they knew it. They just go straight in for him, burst him down under the tower. This is not the Galio of old that is full tank. This is a very squishy build that does have a lot of value because Mandate is reducing the cooldown of your taunt, of your ult, of your E. It's that triple power, but
Skewmon caught here, needs to get to that Mega Blast Cone just in time. You can feel the Cyclone about to be cast from Oner.
And Faker getting punished there. Skewmon survives, so it's another good play for G2. The gold lead is gone. It's 300 gold, and because Skewmon got that last dragon, it's not as though you're facing down Soul Point either. This is a game that G2 can win. We'll see if they're going to be able to make it happen at this next dragon, or if they even want to try at this next dragon, because IE is done, and that is such a scary point in the game, because Peyz is the lead, and Peyz is at the maximum power he can get from his lead right now.
2.6k ahead, Infinity Edge there for him. I think that's the big thing. The gold lead is negligible between the two teams, but if Peyz is in a fight and Broken Blade isn't, it's massive. And if Broken Blade's in a fight and Peyz isn't, it's also a massive advantage for G2 as the snap traps are down. The Drake has been begun by T1. TP out from G2 as they look to join Caps up with the rest of the squad. Charles instant Mikhails. Oh, wow. That was gorgeous from Keria. But T1 are still a little bit on the back foot as Faker yet to join with his team. Now connects through mid. Light binding down. Peyz puts another snap trap lined out. Hungry for someone to eat one of those cupcakes. Faker being kept at bay by Broken Blade in the mid lane. The arrow still a long way from coming back off its cooldown. The Drake down to 4,000. Doran getting chased out towards the top side as Skumon goes in. Oner with the Cyclone. Hero's entrance as well onto Hansama, who flashes across the wall, but with the Ragnarok. Doran just makes him fall, and now a second Cyclone means Skumon goes down. A 2-for-1 so far for T1. And they will get the Drake out of it.
Yeah, it's a split fight. It's a split fight. And now T1 want more.
Broken Blade flashing for Peyz. The bear trap doesn't connect in time. Keria forced away. Caps flashes away from Faker, but with Oner on the chase, it should be enough. LeBron flashes, trying to get Peyz rooted up. Broken Blade Mikhails won't be enough to remount him. Peyz makes him pay the piper. And with an ace in the hole, Caps almost falls the final spark. Not living up to its name as Caps continues to run away. There's another blast cone for him to take, and he should be able to survive with Lebrov on his way across. Faker chasing Lebrov. Peyz trying to flank onto him as well as Caps does manage to extract himself, but Peyz is on the flank, and Lebrov has used that blast cone. Caps puts down an Arcane Ray, Siphon Power for the move speed, TP behind by Doran. Caps is the universal taunt for T1, it seems, and with Baron available, T1 are trying to delay those resets, but in goes Peyz and down goes Peyz. He overstepped. G2 strike back.
Yeah, G2 are bailed out there by the fact that Peyz goes down. Peyz was trying to get behind Caps because they've been chasing him across the entire map. You had it dead on the money. I think that they were trying to make sure they could get this delayed kill so that they could actually go for the Baron. But here is where things go wrong. Skumon fully commits to Peyz, but look at the other side. Doran has gotten into the back line. The battle lines are destroyed for G2 so fast. So when Skumon full sends it, he knew that there was no Mikhails available because that had been forced out earlier by Hans. But when he goes in, Broken Blade's not with him. The rest of the team is not with him. And Hans is dying on the other side. And then Peyz, despite Lebrov going in here, landing that root, Broken Blade just does not have the damage to deal with the Caitlyn. They do eventually get that chase down, but they are bailed out by the fact that they kill off Peyz. It means no Baron, but it is soul point for T1 and a very strong soul for some of these, bruiser-style champions like the Olaf, who likes to play these fights on the edge of death.
He'll love the extra healing that he's getting out of it as G2 still within 1,000 gold. T1 still in control of the game, importantly. They have a 3.5 item AD carry. Hans Sommer still only has components of his third. Peyz is massively ahead, but if he gets caught like that again, the game could quite quickly swing out of T1's grasp.
It really can. I mean, he is a massive advantage. He is the problem. That is absolutely true. But if he gets caught, if he dies at the start of the fight, that is most of their power, right? Faker and Oner aren't that strong. Doran isn't that strong. So, G2, it's a hard task to do, but if they are able to get that angle, if BB and Skumon get in on top of him, if they can take him out, then you do have that shot. But Peyz,
the charge. And Charles uses the clone well there. Broken Blade trying to get in with the bear trap on the rope, but won't be able to get in there. He gets dismounted immediately. Skull very cowardly this time as Oner comes back in with a category 5 as Skumon dives forward. Peyz Mikhails. The taunt on Skumon means he can't get any deeper. And Oner goes back in. The hero's entrance comes down, but it's cancelled as Faker can't join the fray. Skumon manages to get out. A Ragnarok forward, a taunt, it's all on Caps. But how deep are you? Broken Blade remounts. Peyz steps in, and Peyz now untouched. Another taunt, Broken Blade dismounted. Skumon back alive, but the Guardian Angel will not save him.
Penta, he's going for the Penta!
Him in the middle. A 17th penta-kill for the Prince.
You go for T1, but Peyz is untouched, and Peyz gets the penta-kill there. An incredible fight from him, stays alive at low health, is able to make them pay. As look at this clone from Oner. Oner able to block both the Enchanted Crystal Arrow and the Kled ult by so much space. And then as Peyz moves forward here, Skumon looks for the re-engage. The Cyclone comes out, Skumon gets that Q knock up in onto Peyz, but T1 keep the space for him because Faker is there, because Oner is there. They buy the time, and then Doran says, you have spent too many cooldowns. The binding lands on Caps over the wall. He full sends it. Peyz wins the duel against Hansama on the side, drops the chap on the GA, bursts down Broken Blade, takes out Skewmon, chases him down, and on match point at MSI in the lower bracket in an elimination series, the penta-kill Prince does it again.
What a show. 12,000 damage from Peyz. And now, Soul up in 15 seconds. Doran has a flank as Faker forced to retreat with the Justice Punch. Skewmon trying to step forward again. The snap traps are down. Broken Blade trying to find Doran around the red buff. He'll look for the flank himself. Has the charge. Can try and get in. Flash just coming back up for Peyz. Doran clears out the vision.
This is going to be tough. They're going on Faker.
Only onto Faker. G2 still looking. Look at Broken Blade. He's snuck behind them. Doran as well, though perhaps caught out. 4 members of G2 trying to chase him, but he uses the ghost and gets himself out. Broken Blade still here. Justice Punch forward by Faker. Peyz begins to step up. The final spark, the Crescent Guard, and Faker's down, and now BB charges round, but the wrong way round. It's a merry-go-round for G2 as they look to try and steal this away. Peyz flashes out, Skewmon down. Oner takes him, Caps takes half his health from the caliber that Peyz has found. A Broken Blade, no! Gets in with the bear trap. LeBron survives through Oner. Keria is down. T1 are down. G2 will chase them away. No end in sight yet, but again, G2 have found the 5% play they needed, but Doran has other ideas. He'll chase LeBron, he'll take the 2. G2 will kill him off in the end, but Doran evens it out.
Doran stops it from being that much worse, but how about Skewmon in these fights, finding Peyz time and time again, and has no fear going in on these plays onto Peyz. They know he is the man they have to take out. Faker goes so deep here, he can't use his ultimate at all because he's the one that's in first. Just gets deleted. It's a big overextension from Faker, but then eyes on Peyz. Wind becomes lightning, does connect on him. Skewmon full sends it. Yes, he does get taken down, but then as they step forward, look at this from Broken Blade. How confident is that? E-flash Q catches Peyz. If any of that misses, he looks like a fool. He dies, but he catches him. He takes him out. Doran here, though, in the 2v4. Broken Blade was on the Dragon. They thought they could kite him out. They thought they could do it without him. But Doran flashes in, gets a couple kills there.
So smart from Doran to turn around in that moment as well, because that is the moment he has. At that point, it's a squishy Victor, a squishy Karma, and a squishy Ashe that you want to chase down. 31 minutes in. Peyz with his 16th Penta, leading the board by 4.
And G2 take the gold lead ever so slightly. They stave off the Soul. This game on a knife's edge here. T1 will be eliminated from MSI if they lose this. If T1 win, we will go to a pivotal game 5 here. Faker needs gold for the Zhonyas. Right now he's stuck on this Broken Seekers. That's why he's pushing sides. And Kled is heading down there, and Kled could take him out if he gets caught. Faker is very weak right now.
Peyz is shadowing him, currently on the Gromp. Could add in his damage with an ace in the hole. Peyz is looking. No flash on that Caitlyn for now. In fact, in terms of summoners, not many available on either side. Not a single flash for T1. 3 for G2 with Skewmon, Caps, and Hans holding on to theirs. 1,000 gold lead for G2, but negligible, really. The pocket change right now is it's a Baron setup. Faker pathing out through mid. Broken Blade's going to push him bot.
Here's the thing, for G2, the question is, do you force now, knowing those flashes are missing, knowing that you have summoner advantage, are you willing to start a Baron and try to force them to come to you? Because you have flash from Skewmon, flash from Caps, flash from Hans, and you know that Peyz is vulnerable. He is the entire lead for T1. He is 4,000 gold ahead. Broken Blade is almost 4,000 gold ahead himself.
He's going to chase onto Doran right here as Doran tries to trade back onto him. It's an item advantage for the Kled right now, and you can see it paying off in the health bars. Doran forced away. The charge in as well by Broken Blade, but he's a little bit short on it as he jousts forward and misses the bear trap, and Undertow will slow him down with a TP coming in by Faker. Skewmon here to defend his top laner. Faker, is he going to go in with the Justice Punch? Nope, backs away.
Looking very confident running forward there, but I think he's got to be very careful. Faker is really behind where this Kled is right now. And if Peyz is not there, you cannot fight as T1. And it does cost the ultimate there from Doran, but it is a trade of ults, and it's more time bought. T1 really do not want to fight without the flash from Peyz. And Skumon has the GA now. That is a very big purchase. Hans, we've talked so much about Peyz, and rightfully so, but Hans is also strong at this point. He's down an entire BT, but he has the damage items. He has some power behind him. And we'll see if he can make it work, because Skumon has just been finding Peyz every single time. If he finds that wind becomes lightning, he goes for it instantly, knocks up Peyz, puts the pressure on him, and the Crescent Guard can buy that time. G2 now starting the Baron.
They're trying to get Faker across here. He only has the hero's entrance. No flashes. Broken Blade keeps Oner at bay. On the top side, Doran looking for an engage. Peyz still no flash as G2 rattle through the Baron right now. It's down to 2k. The smite comes out. The final spark does not find its mark. G2 get the Baron, and Charter Crystal is going to hail to Keria, but he immediately Mikhails it away. Skumon dashing forward with Wind Becomes Lightning and the Audacious Charge, but he's not going to find too much more. Faker gets his Justice Punch blocked by Broken Blade. A bear trap on a rope with the rest of T1 coming across to defend. Faker will survive. In the end, G2 get the objective that they wanted out of it.
They get the Baron, and they're going to have the Baron for this next Dragon, which is the big win. T1 don't fully commit to it. They know they're still missing those summoners. Fighting without flash in a situation like that for Peyz could be suicide. So T1 decide to just hold on here. Couple seconds until Peyz has that flash back here. Doran trying to get as strong as he can. Everyone trying to finish as many items as they possibly can for what could be a series decider if G2 wins it. 15 seconds now, and T1 first to the objective. Teeping in early, they caught one.
Skumon has to use the Crescent Guard early, that's massive. T1 now can set up for this Drake Soul for them. G2 might step forward, might try and take the play. Broken Blade level 19, 2 ahead of Doran. Has that charge, Skumon dashes onto Faker. The taunt comes out, the Justice Punch away as well, as G2 want to take this fray, want to take this battle, where the series could be decided for T1. They need another game after this. For G2, for the first time in 7 years, they're on the cusp of taking down T1 in a best of 5. Oner in the smite, goes to Skew. Oner low, the Guardian Angel though still available to bring him back in the Charter Crystal Hour coming out as Broken Blade does need the charge to get away. Oner so low, and G2 continue to advance, continue to step forward. There's the charge away. G2 now maybe reset. T1 back away through the bottom lane. Caps reset, he's not got TP. G2 just trying to keep T1 around. A taunt just wide of connecting onto Skumon's shoes. As G2 continue to step forward, they have confidence in this. Skumon almost gets sniped out by a headshot. Broken Blade dashes away with the jousting, and once again, Faker's taunt can't find its mark.
And look at Caps mid lane. T1 have got to get back, have got to reset. This fight has just been going forever. And I got to say, Broken Blade was the difference maker absolutely in that last one. He was threatening the flank, the hold of Peyz. He one-shot him!
He just absolutely eviscerates LeBron, and now G2 on the back foot. Ragnarok forward as Hans-Sama is going to get taken out. The hero finds a Faker there as well. Broken Blade having to retreat, dives back onto Oner. Meanwhile, Skumon once again just taken out. BB killed off Oner. Caps is just off towards the top side. It's still an advantageous fight for T1 as the Lucent Singularity doesn't find its mark, but Faker is falling low. Violent tendencies! The Kled somehow finds another. The Lucent Singularity will get the slow door in there with a chase with the undertow. Does not connect, and Broken Blade is leading them on a merry chase as he remounts onto Skull. Doran stepping forward. BB with a pocket pistol! Anything Peyz can do, BB can do better. He brings out both barrels and takes down 2.
Peyz knocking him down there, chasing after him. Buying so much time, though, was Broken Blade as Caps is able to push, and Lebrov faces the full power there of Peyz. Keria going to be chasing here. They wanted to try to look for Caps. They won't be able to find him. Lebrov took a headshot from that brush, and Peyz making Caitlyn look like an assassin. Keria, they spotted him.
He spots LeBron. Final spark, Mikhail's away. Charter Crystal Hour does not find its mark. Cap's able to get out of dodge. He's been staying around in some sticky situations, and what a game. What a series this is, Azael. So many 3-0s. I think a lot of people came into today expecting another for T1, but G2 have been unrelenting.
Now you see him, now you don't. It's a bullet to the face. Lebrov is sent back to base, but G2 trying to kite out. Hans early flash, but Doran just says no. And again, it's heroics from Broken Blade, honestly, throughout this series, and especially throughout this game. dies in the 1v1. He is thousands and thousands of gold ahead. He is threatening in fights. He is delaying and putting on pressure and buying time and keeping them alive in a situation where you wouldn't think he'd be able to make it happen.
I mean, BB finds 3 in that fight, and now he's found Oner, who has to use the Cyclone to try and get away, but there's a Hurricane warning as Hurricane BB's on his way for the chase. Oner has the hero's entrance coming in. Skew on a broken blade, now needs to get the hell out with the Enchanted Crystal out on the Crescent Guard for the knockback. Peyz trying to step in the midst of that circle, but he can't get close enough. Broken Blade gets onto Peyz, who now has a Guardian Angel, and Broken Blade is rooted up, dismounted, as he runs away from Doran, and Caps takes the kill. G2 have found 2 more. No major objective up for a minute.
Peyz is going back, but Peyz has no flash. This is so risky. If he gets caught, they could end the game right here.
The volley hits him. Oh, the wind becomes lightning. Wind behind his Achilles heel. G2 have fought back to within 4K ahead. For them, a monumental series. It's been 7 years since G2 took down T1 in a best of 5. For T1, they are fighting to not lose this 3-1. They have never missed the top 4 of an international tournament that they have been to.
I mean, this is a legacy game for Broken Blade. He is showing us everything in this game. You could not ask for more from Kled. His timings are perfect. He's following over the wall with the E. He's using the R for the interrupt on the dash. He's chasing down and reconnecting with the bear trap on the rope, pulling in Oner, taking him out. And then the team is just closing ranks here around their carries, not allowing Peyz to get in and threaten. And Peyz, again, is playing without flash for the Baron, for the Dragon. RT1 willing to bet their tournament lives on a fight.
Spotted, Lightbind is going to hit him. Wind becomes lightning, comes out, there's a Crescent Guard for the knockback. Skew1 needs to get to that Mega Blast Cone. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Faker getting chased out by BB, who's just barreling through him, uses the charge to interrupt the hero's entrance, and the hero makes an exit as BB finds a solo.
Broken Blade gets the solo there. Faker saw the Q on cooldown, but he forgot about the ult. He interrupts him with the ult and takes him out. The Zonius was not used, and now T1, they are going to be scrambling here. There's no flash on Peyz. Your mid laner is dead. You can't answer bot. You're going to lose soul. And G2, off the back of an incredible game from Broken Blade, may have dealt lethal damage. They have to get it across the finish line, but they are so far ahead now. They will get soul. They will get Baron. T1 will try to fight another day. It's a 6.3k gold lead for Broken Blade individually. It's a 3.6k gold lead for Caps. Yes, Peyz is strong, but he's been capped on items for a while, and he's the only one.
The MasterCard priceless moment of the game. G2 fighting valiantly back into it. A Chem Soul and a Baron now for them. And for T1, you are grasping at not even straws. You're grasping at the end of straws. You're grasping at the concept of straws right now, because when G2 steps up, when Broken Blade steps up, it feels like you just cannot match him.
I mean, Doran is just so far behind. I mean, the only positive you can talk about is the same one for Hans, where Peyz has no more room to grow. Broken Blade has no more room to grow.
You're catching up, at least, if you're Doran.
Exactly, but the problem is there's never going to be an answer for the damage that's coming out of Caps. Caps has not been the story of this game, but he's 4K up as well. He has a death cap. He's on 6 items. This Victor could solo win you a fight, and we haven't even really been talking about him because it's been this battle between Broken Blade and Peyz. Peyz with 13 kills, Broken Blade with 15 kills. In an MSI lower bracket series, you might be able to eliminate T1 here. They're on the push. They have Soul. They have Baron. Can they do it?
T1 set up the trap line. Peyz steps forward. He is still deadly.
That was one headshot on Caps. Lost 70% of his health to Peyz.
And that's the problem as well. He hasn't built a defensive item. There's no Zhonya's there. It is all damage all the time whenever he can find it. Skewmond on the Wolves. Caps having to reset, does have the TP. Baron remains on them for the next 95 seconds. T1 with good defense. TP coming out from Caps, and I do believe this is a slight problem for G2. The siege is not the easiest. Into a Galio, into a Caitlyn, into a Lux, you don't have a huge amount of range. If you charge in and take the fight, you have to be brave to do that in this moment as well. You have to trust yourself, you have to back yourself. G2 have done that many times before, but can you do it against the back-to-back-to-back world champions as T1 are trying to shut that door? A Ragnarok forward, they'll jump onto Caps, the final spot. Caps tries to get away, will use the flash, the inhibitor tower in the mid lane will fall, the Ragnarok falls off. Meanwhile on the bottom side, Hansama and the brother pushing forward for a second inhibitor tower of this Baron play. T1 went for the play, Ghost Ragnarok forward from Doran, but they couldn't find purchase onto Caps.
And that's double inhib now there for G2. T1 do push Caps back, do get his flash, but now they're trying to wait it out. They're trying to get the Ghost, the ult back for Doran to see if they can punish Caps to find that angle, but the map is so dark for T1. They cannot leave the base right now. Doran has gotten another item completed. Faker still desperately trying to get his fourth in a game where everyone else is capping out. The Galio very far behind. Skewmon even pretty significantly ahead here. T1, they have the damage with Peyz to get it done in the right fight, but G2 have so many threats, and there's only one target that matters. Yeah. They've got to go for Peyz. Unless Doran and Oner can get in the backline, create some heroics, if you take out Peyz, you've won the series.
How long was the game? We started this series with the longest game of MSI so far. I believe we're going to beat that record, as they'll hear in game 4. For T1, you're looking for the small dregs of hope, the 5% play. How do you find and engage? Is it Oner flanking across the Razor Beaks where he currently is? Well, a Hawkshot's going to spot that out. Do you try and play onto Broken Blade? He's outplayed you. He's too strong right now on this Kled. Do you go for Caps? You did, but you couldn't quite lock him down, and that's partly the problem as well. Apart from a Light Binding or a Cyclone or a Taunt, you don't have a huge amount of ways to CC someone.
It's absolutely true, and G2 are trying to take advantage of that by pushing all 3 lanes. They're not that afraid of the potential engage here from T1, so they are pushing in all sides here. T1 trying to hold on. It's going to be this next wave that G2 needs to play on if they want to try to go for the triple inhib. This wave coming in here. T1 trying to close ranks around topside. They're going to spend the Lux ult. They're trying to just clear it out and make sure that they do not get triple inhibbed. But more supers coming in here, and if they go, it is win or go home for T1. They have got to be picture perfect with their engage.
Tower in the top lane toppled. G2 pushing in. Keria looking for the Light Binding. Goes wide of Hansama. T1 now relegated to defending only their Nexus towers in that top lane in here. Broken Blade trying to distract as the Shurelias is used. Keria steps forward, but again, between the uprights on the 2 initiation tools, Oner forced back. Enchanted Crystal hits only onto Keria. Peyz trying to get the damage down as well. Doesn't use the Mikhails, importantly. That's a tool that they will keep for the ending push. Triple inhib down, 2.5 minutes before the inhibs are back out.
No flash on Caps.
For it. Caps has no flash. An Arcane Sword comes down and Faker looks for the flank. G2 are just going to push through mid though. The Arcane Sword gets the Guardian Angel as G2 try and catch onto Doran. Peyz still here to try and defend. Broken Blade going in as well with the Ragnarok coming out. The charge away from Kled. Caps is down. Skewmon here trying to answer with one of his own as he jumps onto Faker. Lebrov headshot. The ace in the hole is going to have to be blocked by Hansama. A Light Binding bites them as Peyz flashes forward. Hansama forced away, but Faker's here. T1 are not done with you. T1 are not done with this series. They're not done with this MSI as they wipe away G2.
But the question is, can you actually push? You're triple inhibbed. There's supers everywhere. Double supers coming in through every lane. So what they're going to go for here is they're going to try to go for the Elder. But Skewmon is still alive. If he could steal that, that would be huge. And even if they get it, I don't know if it gets them a win here. Broken Blade is TPing back, and he's going to look for a potential fight. He has flash.
No flash. Peyz has no flash, nor does Keria. No Mikhails either. Peyz has the Seraphim on his shoulders, that Guardian Angel, and that will be the Elder Drake. G2 decide they do not want to take this battle. They'll find another one. In this war, we have seen battle after battle after battle. Is it just a Baron rush from G2?
I think it is. There's no way for T1 to actually get out there and defend. Look where Broken Blade is. They know he's on that side of the map. If they committed over to the Baron, then G2 could just send Broken Blade to end the game here. T1 trying to hold on. They've got to wait. Oh, Caps is there.
Oner's looking as well. This is not a quick Baron. It's only Skewmon doing it right now as Oner steps forward. Spotted out by the far side Oration. Broken Blade seeing if he can get in, but Peyz is still there to defend alongside Faker. Recall coming out from Peyz and the resets coming out from T1. It will be a Baron for Elder exchange in the end.
which favors the Baron because you can just wait out the Elder. The Baron is taken second here, and I don't think T1 are going to get a fight right now. Oner knows there's no point in me trying to steal this because even if he gets in the pit and he steals it, he will die for it, and that could be game ending. Your base is completely in shambles, so T1 are trying to batten down the hatches, trying to hold on, wait for these inhib respawns, but they are going to be having to play with the fear of a backdoor in the back of their minds for the rest of the game. That being said, Hans, he's surely going to have the Mercurial soon. Doran's working towards his last item.
Yes.
Faker's damage is becoming relevant. Like, we are in the true end game. 50 minutes is approaching, and people will be so online. Peyz has swapped out his items. He has a Hurricane and a Mercurial now.
Sold the GA.
Exactly, yep. Sold the GA because it's on cooldown, I believe, or maybe not even, but swapping out, has no GA, will be very risky. If they get in, they could take him out.
Hans' full build has that Mercurial complete.
So is Doran.
Both Peyz and Broken Blade have the most kills ever on thetheir respective champions at an international event.
Wow.
No surprises there. We have had 59 kills in a 48-minute game.
And it is heartbreaking that someone has to lose this game. We have had miraculous performances from Broken Blade and Peyz. It feels like they were keeping the dream of a win alive for their teams. But Doran, down 6K or not, he's full build. It no longer matters. And there's the Mercurial for Hans. So down 5K or not, who cares? The only disadvantage for Hans right now is that he has a GA and it's on cooldown.
Yeah.
That's really the only difference. Faker just got his death cap. So Faker even now does damage. In a fight like this, these games are so rare. Yes, there is the soul edge, but the burst is so high that it won't necessarily matter. These games are so rare in League, but when everyone is a true 6 items, you can get one shot with one step too far forward.
Especially when you have a Caitlyn. That if she has a headshot lined up and she walks at Lebrov and Lebrov doesn't shield, he's dead. That is a huge amount of damage as Caps tries to step forward. The inhibitors respawn for T1 in bot and mid. The top lane one still 43 seconds away as the Elder has expired, which is why G2 feel that they can step further forward towards T1. Broken Blade's going to walk over that trap line, takes one. Cap slowed with the undertow. T1's flash is still not quite back up. Doran has one, but Peyz still doesn't have his, nor does Faker. G2 stepping forward. No flash on Hans Summer. Skumons is about to come off cooldown.
Caps just lost half his health. It looked like an ult snuck in there from Peyz. No one blocked it.
No TP as well for Caps. He's reliant on his teammates, reliant on that Inspire shield, slowed up by the Lucent Singularity. Broken Blade building up a huge minion wave here.
Yeah, they're gonna get
supers
once again.
And now T1, all hail the defense. Can you pull it out of the hat? Can you find something magical? You've done it so many times before with the Arcane Storm coming out. Peyz is forced to walk away. The inhibitor on the top side about to fall to Broken Blade as T1. They need to heal, they need to get back up. The wave's not quite here yet for G2, but the Nexus out stuck.
Here they go!
The Cyclone! The Cyclone! Peyz assassinates Caps as Doran gets on the backline. Doran falls. Broken Blade just looking for the Nexus. Broken Blade's going to charge around as Skumos there too. But G2, after 7 years! After 7 years!